Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we are looking at some rectangular prisms that are made out of cubes, and we're given some information about the cube length, width, and height as opposed to the whole rectangular prism's length, width, and height. All right, so here we want to find the volume of each prism, the whole prism made up of all the cubes, and we're told the side length of each cube is 1/4 meter. So that means if I'm looking at the full length of this rectangular prism, I'm going to highlight it, each of these cubes is 1/4 meter long. So I'm just going to write in the 1/4 for each of the cubes here, and then I'm going to total up the full length. So the length of this full rectangular prism is 5/4 meters long. Now let's take a look at the width over here on the side. If the side length there is 1/4, right, that means the width is 2/4 meters wide. And the last piece we're going to look at here is the height. All right, so again, if each of those cubes is 1/4, so you have a fourth for the top, a fourth for the middle, and a fourth for the bottom, that means the full height of this full rectangular prism is 3/4 meters. Now we can take these values, right, the length of 5/4, the width of 2/4, and the height of 3/4, and put those into our equation. Volume equals length times width times height. So the length we said is 5/4, the width is 2/4, and the height is 3/4. From here you could put it into a calculator or multiply straight across. We'd end up with 30/64, and that can reduce down if we divide both numbers by 2 to 15/32, and our units would be meters cubed, and that's our volume for that full shape. Let's take a look at another problem here. Okay, so a different rectangular prism made up of cubes again. This time each side length is 2.5 centimeters long. So if I want to find out how long the full length is, I'm just going to put in 2.5 for each one. I'm losing the fraction bar there, sorry. And another 2.5. So now to find the full length, we can add up 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 2.5, or multiply 5 times 2.5. Either way, that would get us to 12.5 centimeters for the length. The width here on the side, we have 2.5, and that should be a half, not a third, and another 2.5. That means the width would be 5. 2.5 plus 2.5 is 5. And actually it would be the same thing for the height here because there are 2 blocks. Each of those are 2.5. And so when we add them together, the height would be 5. So now we can substitute that into our equation, length times width times height. So we have 12.5 times 5 times 5. And that gives us a volume of 312.5 centimeters cubed. And we're going to do one more example here. This time the side length of each cube is 3/4 inches long. And what I mean, actually I'll take it a step back. From here to here, from the left all the way to the end of that cube, that's 3/4 inches long. That's what this statement here is saying. And then to go from this piece to this piece, that cube is 3/4 inches long. And then from the left side to the right side of this last cube, it's 3/4 inches long. So that's 9/4 for the length. We're going to do the same thing for the width here, right? 3/4, another 3/4 for the next cube, another 3/4, and another 3/4. Or 4 groups of 3/4, that would be 12/4. And then again for the height, that's the width there, the height 3/4 going from the top to the bottom, and then from the middle to the bottom, another 3/4 for that cube. When we add it up, that's 6/4 for the height. We'll substitute those numbers into our length, width, and height. So the length is 9/4, the width is 12/4, and the height is 6/4. You can cross-reduce here if you like, or type it directly into your calculator and then simplify in the end. I'm going to type it into my calculator. So 9 times 12 times 6 in the numerator gives us 648, and 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. And I know 64 goes into 648 10 times. We'd have 8 remainder, so 8 over 64, and that reduces to 10 and 1/8 inches cubed for our volume. All right, if you have questions, tune in to our video call, and I will speak to you guys soon. Have a good day.